Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. Joined as I am each and every week for one of my shows with my good buddy. He's a tremendously successful attorney down in Savannah and Atlanta area of Georgia. Him and I have been doing this for 14 years together. Oh my goodness. And let me tell you, he hasn't aged, but I sure have. The one and only, the great Johnny Shop. Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Hondo. We're getting into May. We're getting close to the start of the summer, if you will. So everybody's getting sunscreen ready, but also thinking football.
You know, John, each week when you and I join in this particular podcast, we really spend our time breaking down the NFL. We go around the NFL. Obviously, we're very Raiders centric, but if it impacts the NFL, it impacts the Raiders. So let's start right where we were this morning when we found out that the Raiders heading to Arrowhead, their arch nemesis, biggest rival, arguably the gold stand, not arguably. I mean, I think if you're being reasonable, the gold standard of the NFL, and they're going to take on Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and a lot of other great players. Christmas Day in Arrowhead. I mean, if you're the Raiders, now we know a couple of years ago they did beat them. John Gruden took that bus trip around the stadium that made no sense. But they have their job is to win the AFC West. Now, I don't think they're going to win it this year. I'm just being open. But that is the gold standard. If you want to win the AFC West, you got to beat Kansas City. If you want to win the AFC to get to the Super Bowl, you got to beat Kansas City. And oh, by the way, they're the reigning Super Bowl champions. So to get to a Super Bowl, you got to beat Kansas City. National audience, Christmas Day, one of three games. I like it. I think it's a great thing for the Raiders. You want that singular, all eyes of the nation on you. It's year two. It's the sophomore campaign of Josh McDaniels. I like it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, when you look at it, the first thing I think you want if you're the Raiders is you want that game to mean something. You want to be in the mix. You want to be hopefully competing for the division, and you want to go ahead and take that ride east with something to play for. It is absolutely going to be a national stage. Now, it's a pretty early game in the day at 1 p.m. Eastern, but you're looking probably at a 20 million audience plus. A lot of folks around the country are going to have that game on. And because it's such a classic NFL rivalry, it maybe catch a few extra eyes than if it was not a rivalry at all. So when I look at it, it's something to point at. In the world of professional football, they're all huge, no doubt. They're all one at a time. There's no doubt about that. But if you are looking here in May at what the season might be, if you're in that Raider organization, that one's going up on the wall somewhere. They're going to point to that when they should. And a reasonable goal is let us get to that game with something important to play for, jockeying for playoff position, jockeying for division position. So it's pretty exciting. And I hope that's something that'll get fans excited. And that's really one of the great things about this slow schedule rollout that we've seen trickling over the recent hours of the day.
Well, it goes back to what you and I talked about, how the NFL has just done a masterful job of marketing itself. I mean, it seems like the draft was 100 years ago and it was just a couple weeks. And now everybody's waited with and bated breath about the schedule, and it's finally here.